Welcome everybody to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, round number 3 of the Stone River Outfitters Cup Series, coming to you live from the mile and a half track at Las Vegas, one of my favorite cities of all time. I'm joined in the booth by Ken Huber out in Kalispell, Montana. Did I pronounce that right, Ken?
I think so, Scott. We'll let that slide by. No, Kalispell's fine. But more importantly, we're out here in Sin City, and this track is an incredible track. Fairly new facility over the past 20 years, but mile and a half, looking forward to high speeds tonight. I expect these cars to burn in the tires and probably not have much left on the rear end as these cars get pretty loose as the night progresses. So we'll have to see how this race goes. But you know what? We've had this season is a pretty good season so far. A repeat winner with Andrew Schulte winning the 2 first races of the season. And I believe both those races, except for Daytona, I think we had 1 caution. And then last week we had no caution. So I think we're only 1 caution on the entire season so far.
I think so too. So looking for some action tonight. We're going to talk about the handling. I'm sure that's going to be a big factor tonight. Probably the most challenging of the season so far between Daytona and California. So I'd look forward to that. Maybe a fuel mileage race, maybe some pit strategy, and more importantly, perhaps a new winner, as we've only seen 1 winner this season, Mr. Andrew Schulte. So far, going for the 3-peat, but I don't know that I heard a rumor that he may not even be present tonight, so maybe the 3-peat won't even be possible.
Yeah, that might not be in his future. He has a couple minutes to get in here, but sometimes that's the way it works out. We all have busy lives we lead, and sometimes we can't make it to all these races. But on qualifying, I just looked at the board right now. We got Wally Turheimer up in that pole position currently in that Dutch Brothers 75 Ford Mustang. Oh, and I think he just lost it to Vernon Margheim.
Yeah, looks like Wally up there with 30.3. Good to see Wally here. Vernon with a 30.256. Wade Cheetah, we just saw him cross the finish line in the 112 car, 30.4. Looks like he just got bumped down to 5th spot.
Yeah, and I got something I got to admit to you, Scott. I actually wrecked Wade last night. It's so shameful. I feel so bad.
Wrecked him? Oh, that's your road series, right? What happened at Road America? Is that where you guys were?
Yeah, Road America. That's your favorite track. It's the place where you like to run out of fuel. So
oh.
Yeah, I decided to take him out on the last lap, and yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. So I imagine Wade would like to recover from that tonight here at Las Vegas. At least he doesn't have Heber on the track tonight.
There you go, Wade. Let's look at Johnny Hamby. Was Johnny in the race last night?
Johnny was. He actually won the race last night. So
look at that. Last night's winner in the John Deere number 70. Looking for a qualifying run here. We'll see what Johnny can do off of corner number 4. Nope, coming to pit road.
So did he get a time in there, Scott? I'm
looking down the leaderboard right now, and
he's got a 30.5 basically.
30.5.
Yep, and so looks like we got about a minute and a half of qualifying left. We still got about 10 cars, maybe 11 or 12. Haven't been out on the track. There we go. We see Mike Erder just post a time, 23rd. That's his first lap. You tend to be faster on the second lap here, Scott. It takes a little bit of time to get heat in the tires. So actually, it seems like the 3rd and 4th lap are the fastest laps. So when you're out there on this cold tires, these first 2 laps, you can't quite get the car up. So you have to manage driving an ugly car around because you only get the 2 laps. On lap 3, these cars feel pretty good.
Looking at Brad Ream through turn 3 and 4. 1 car length up off the bottom. The white stripe there. A little loose, maybe a little sideways off of corner number 4. Down to the grass across the stripe for the 61 Camaro. 13th spot, 30.445 for Brad Ream.
Yeah, I want you to take a look at who's on the pole currently there, Scott.
Mr. Michael Milfeld Jr. Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, I was rubbing the stuff out of my eyes, making sure it was right. Had to pinch myself there.
I was doing the same thing when I heard Wally was on the top of the board. I was rubbing my eyes, but
well, you got Michael Milfeld Jr., Vern Margheim, and Wally Turheimer, your top 3 so far on a qualifying order. So we only got about 20 seconds left, and still got about 7 or 8 cars that haven't put down a lap. Billy Bumgardner being one of them. He's normally out there. I'd be surprised he's going to start provisionally like this. Got a few other guys. Eric Talent, normally pretty fast. Blake Cheetah, David Schreck, Bill Paradise. None of those guys seem to be out on the track, so I think we're just about got the field locked in here.
There it is. Time expired. Checker flag out for qualifying session. Round number 3 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway here. We'll get to the starting lineup here shortly as we go to pre-race ceremonies here. All right, here's our qualifying order. Michael Milfeld Jr. on the pole from Des Lodge, Missouri. Vernon Margheim starting on his outside. Wally Tierheimer in third. Noah Rainwater, one of the new members to the league, but he's on the 03 car tonight. Looks like he got an official number. Charles Widener in fifth. David Cassidy in sixth. Heath Smith up there in seventh. Chris Voiles in eighth from Bandit Motorsports. Wade Cheetah on the Krinkenstein team in ninth. And Christopher Davis riding out of top 10 starters tonight.
Yeah, the number 7 car of Greg Mall will start in 11th on the inside. Well, on his outside is going to be the number 41 of Wesley Holland. Rob Haynes will start in 13th position, while Brad Ream will start on the outside in 14th. Bob Wells, bad Bob Wells, starting in that 42 car, going to be starting in that 15th position. And alongside him is going to be Jack Watts. In 17th position is going to be Jeff Gilmore, and on his outside is going to be Johnny Hamby in the 70 John Deere car. In 19th position is Joe Marks with Matt Rodoloso on his outside in the 13 car.
21st going to Calvin Miller, one of our Canadians out there. Rod Mitten from New Jersey in 22nd. Brian Bazell, Daytona 500 winner from last year, starting 23rd. Mike Erder, the Dart, Dallas, Texas, starting 24th. Billy Bumgarner, 25th from Charlotte, North Carolina. James Hearns, one of our admins for Sunday night, starting in 26th. Trent Drum, Bill Paradise. Those two round out row number 14. David Trek and looks like Kim Quick. I don't know if he's actually on the track racing.
No, he's
but
not on the. He's hopped into the regular admin position tonight.
All right. Top 30 and 31st, John Henderson, Eric Talent, and Blake Cheetah shotgun on the field tonight from Eagan, Minnesota.
Yeah, we've rolled them off the line here. They're all trailing the pace car at the moment, Scott. I'm just going to do a quick weather report. We're looking at 73 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Well, actually, it says partly cloudy, but it looks pretty sunny to me. We got a 99-degree track temperature. And as I said, these cars will get pretty loose. They're kind of dealing with a moderate track temperature right now, so that might help things out. But I imagine 10, 15 laps into a run, these guys are, it's going to be pretty exciting, Scott.
Certainly looking forward to that handling issues here, but I think Michael Milfeld hopefully got a good handle on that car. And Vernon Margheim with that new paint scheme, GTR Simulator Chevy ZL1 on the outside here. Looking for a good run from Vernon, if I remember right. I think it was the runner-up finish last week at California. Do you remember it was second or third for Vernon? Do you remember?
I think it was second. I can't remember there, Scott.
I think it was too.
I apologize there.
Nonetheless, pace cars in. We are ready for the green flag here at Vegas. There's the flag man. Full grandstand. Green flag is out. 100 laps under green here at Vegas. Looks like the front 3 or 4 cars have sorted themselves out. As I say that, the 03 of Noah Rainwater. You got to use to saying that number there. On the outside of Wally Tierheimer. On the inside, the 75 Dutch Brothers Ford Mustang. Trying to settle that spot here for third spot into turn number 1.
Yeah, and I see that 95 car. We didn't talk about him too much last week, but the Dutch Bros car still on the inside there that you mentioned there under Noah Rainwater there. Those two guys are side by side, but just behind them we got Charles Widener back there in that 95 Lowe's car. And Charlie didn't have the greatest race last week, but tonight looks like he's bringing some heat to these boys up front.
Absolutely, there he is on the outside. We're going to see that's going to be another storyline I think tonight, is to be careful as to which line is going to become more predominant. And I'm not convinced, Ken, that this bottom line with the fresh new tires is going to be the dominant line as these tires wear off throughout the field run.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I actually tried a higher line on Sunday, and it actually didn't work for me. I ended up down on the bottom, but I don't know. These guys might be able to make that high line work. You would think that would be the optimal line with the tire wear that we're seeing here. So try to save some pressure on that rear end of the car. Might be running up high might be the answer. That's for sure.
There he goes. Oh, looking at Charlie. Look at the momentum. 2 cars almost in one corner there. Charles Widener in the 95 Lowe's, silver and black Chevy there. Takes out Wally in the 03 of Noah Rainwater on the outside. Looking for 3 in 1 lap. Around the outside of Vernon Margheim. Turn number 4. Give spot number 2 to Charles Widener. Just barely across the start-finish line. I think going into turn 1 here.
Yeah, they're still side by side. It's a great battle up front here. Charles looks like he's going to capture that position now, and he's cleared that car by Vernon Margheim. Now he's setting his sights on the leader there. Michael Melfelt Jr. still continues to lead this thing as we're just about a handful of laps into this. 5 laps in, as a matter of fact. We got some side by side back just behind them again. It looks like we got Wally Tillerheimer on the outside of Vernon Margheim, or the 03 car of Noah Rainwater, I should say. Both those cars are very similar to me right now, Scott. Both Camaros, both blue and white.
That they are. We've got a new chat feature here featuring Here to the Throne. It says, let's get it done, Wesley. Almost 3 wide there off of corner number 2. Vernon Margheim to the outside there. Wade Cheetah in the 112 Kringenstein Motorsports, who's also got Gene Daly pulling for him. There's Gene in the chat going, let's go, Cranky.
Yeah, the Cranky guys are out there right now in force. I'm just checking on one of them, the 112 car of Wade Cheetah. Back there now on the outside, got a side-by-side battle there with the 199 car of Rob Haynes in that beer store Toyota Camry. Right now, he's actually trying to fend off Greg Mall, or trying to get under him, and it looks like Wade made that pass and now is working on the 03 car, and that would be Noah Rainwater.
I think he's put, is Noah ahead of him there? No, Wally's ahead of him, right? That's Wally Tierhammer in the black Ford Mustang there.
Yeah, well, it's a new season, Scott. I'm still learning cars here, so you have to cut me a little bit of slack here. So I'm looking, unless the positions changed rapidly, but Wade's up to 5th. So I think I was watching him, I don't know who I was watching him pass at this point. That must have been Vernon Margheim. It was Vernon Margheim, and he got by Rob Haynes in that beer store car and everything. So Wade to Cheetah is up 4 positions on the night so far.
Speaking of up spots, let's give one of the biggest movers of the race so far up 4 spots. Charles Weiner starting in 5th. He's got the point here, pass for the lead. Gets past Michael Milfeld Jr. Give the point spot to Charles Weiner here in the 95 Lowe's Chevy.
Yeah, impressive move by Charles Weiner. He's showing he's got some strength up front. Meanwhile, I'm still back here looking at Wade Cheetah. I'm going back a little bit further in the field here, Scott. I was watching a battle here with Joe Marks and the number 5 car of Eric Talent. I think Eric Talent is trying to move his way forward. I think started provisionally in the 32nd spot, now on the outside, about to split that 18 car of Brian Bizel there. And looks like he backs off there and falls in line. But yeah, Eric Talent on his way up to the front.
Eric Talent, looks like Brian Bizel cuts to the inside, on the inside of Bob Wells there in the Thunder Road car on the outside. Makes a great move there. And Gary Yamamoto's sponsored Eric Talent car of Eric Talent on the inside. Side by side off corner number 2, trying to take that spot from Bob Wells.
We got James Hearns in the wall on the backstretch. I seen him tag the wall in that outside. And this is what I was talking about, Scott. As we get into this run, we're 11 laps in. This is where the cars start really getting loose. They run 53% fuel, so I think we're looking at a pit window about 28 to 32 laps. But you get it from 11 on laps on, the car gets pretty free, and I think that's what happened to James. It just got away from him and got up into the outside wall.
We're looking at James now, that 78 Texaco Haviland Ford Mustang there. No visible damage, but you can see him get loose that back end off the corner number 2. Once again, they're a little bit loose off the corner. Probably heating up those rear tires. Probably not going to be too beneficial in the long run here.
Yeah, and we have some action up front. Michael Melfeld Jr., I heard some call-outs over his team radio apologizing about something, and we find Michael Melfeld Jr. back now in the 4th position. So something happened, whether he got sideways or got into somebody, but he has moved back a couple positions now. And we're wait and see. We got Wade Cheetah now on the inside of that 03 car, Noah Rainwater. And it looks like give that position currently to Wade. And as we take the car into turn 1, it looks like he's got that position clear with, he's got Michael Melfeld Jr. following him on through that gap, trying to make that pass on that 03 car, Noah Rainwater. So I got to tell you, Scott, this is where you're white knuckling it now, because we are in that sketchy tire situation. So I guarantee you all these guys are white knuckle riding this thing around this track right now and got that egg under that gas pedal.
Doesn't look like it too much from the corners, looking at from the wide angle camera, but I can guarantee you, like you were saying, let's try to go on board with a couple guys here and see what they're doing with the steering wheel. On board, Michael Milfelt in fourth. There goes Noah in front of him. That 03 car, new paint scheme, looks sharp there for Noah. Pretty steady on the steering wheel, holding a pretty wheel for Michael Milfelt here off corner number 2.
Looks like we got Clockman, and that would be the number 7, Greg Mall, in that Ford Mustang, that gray Ford Mustang. He's starting to move up. On the inside, I believe that's his teammate, the 199, that beer store car, Robert Haynes. And trying to make that pass there as they both got that 75 car of Wally Tillerheimer just ahead of him. And you can see Greg Mall working the inside of that 75 car, that Dutch Bros car of Wally. Oh, Wally gets a little sideways there. It's a good thing that Greg wasn't tucked up next to him. You can see it looks like Greg got out of the throttle when he seen that.
3 teammates right there, like I said, from Bandit Motorsports. Greg Mall slides in front of Wally Tierheimer there, and then back down to cover the inside for Rob Haynes with the run here on the bottom side. But then surprising there, look at Vernon Margheim maybe losing some spots from the start here. We were looking at him in the top 2 or 3 spots and losing positions here. Vernon down to 8 spots, second and a half off the lead here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought he was actually moving up there for a minute, Scott. I know he dropped back for a while, so I was thinking he was going to do something uncharacteristic of Vernon Margheim, and that's save tires and then move his way back up front. But yeah, it does look like he's under pressure right now and might give up some more here, or he just got by Wally Tierheimer here, it looks like. I'm asking my cameraman to give me different camera views here. That might be what's confusing the issue for me tonight.
Oh, yeah. Looks to the inside of Rob there.
Sorry.
Where's Wes?
Well, Wes is just making a pass for position on the number 49 car of Chris Boyle. So Wes is slowly moving his way up methodically right now, back there in turns 1 and 2, and he makes that pass. And he's looking at the back of Heath Smith right now in that one orange machine. Black and orange. And there he goes on the inside in 3 and 4.
New paint scheme for West as well off corner number 4 here. We'll show off the paint scheme. Rubbins Racing News. Not sure if that's a podcast or something. Somebody's in the chat. Maybe Mr. Wes Holland Sr. If you're in the chat, let us know. If you're watching, let us know what that new sponsorship is all about for Wes Holland's car.
Yeah, it's a nice looking car. And we see Wes going to the outside now of Wally Tierheimer in that 75 car. So now is looking at David Cassidy in that black Monster Energy drink car just ahead of him there in the 53. So Wes is definitely coming to the front.
He is. We'll look at some lap times here in a second. Looking at that 53 of David Cassidy, like you mentioned, top 10 run here. Solid for Dave. Started in 6th, currently running in 8th. We've got to show that car off because I don't know if we talked about this during the weekend, but I don't know if you saw the broadcast, but the viewers did because they sent me some messages during the week to let me know that there's something wrong with all the green colors, and all the green was black last week. So we showed off David Cassidy's car, but it was pretty much all black, and you couldn't really tell much Monster Energy sponsorship. So there it is in full color. David Cassidy's number 53 Chevy ZL1 rather, starting in currently running in 8th spot, second and a half off the lead.
Well, it looks like you got that issue fixed, Scott. So
that's one of them.
That's pretty funny, actually. You know, it'd be even more funny if the green kind of disappeared and you were showing backgrounds of people on camera and stuff. So that's what
true.
A green normally does. Anyway, Wes Holland now working on the inside of that 53, completes that pass, and now is looking at Rob Haynes in that 199 beer store car.
Wow, not afraid to make multiple moves in one lap here. Wes Holland diving to the inside. Good battle just in front of them. He's going to have his work cut out for him as they're 2x2. Michael Milfelt, Greg Mall, Noah Rainwater, and Vernon Margheim leading this pack here, this bee's nest here off corner number 2.
Yeah, let's hope Wes has got some Los Angeles highway traffic skills under his belt, because that's what he's dealing with currently. Got a mess of guys, and I can tell you right now, Scott, they got their hands full in making these passes side by side with a car that's ill-behaving. Has got to be pretty stressful for Wes right now and everybody that's in that group.
Absolutely. As we're talking about Wes's car, we've got Here to the Throne telling us that That's my media company. We cover NASCAR, IndyCar, Trans Am Series, ARCA as well. Looks like a media company covering local racing news. That's awesome to hear from here to the throne. Let us know what your name is there so we can give you the shout out and the publicity that you deserve for participating here on the Multi-League Racing Network. Glad to see you in the chat here supporting Wes and all local racers.
Most definitely. We're still side by side fighting for about that, looks like about the 9th position back there. That Heath Smith down on the inside, trying to get underneath Greg Mall. Greg Mall holding that position off, looking at the 53 car just ahead of him, and that would be David Cassidy. So these guys are really duking it out here. Meanwhile, Wes Holland, he's starting to pull away from that group and setting his sight on the top 5. And
as we continue to move front here, give it the lead change up here. Sorry we missed it, but give it to Wade Cheetah from Frankenstein Racing in that CQC Power Sports ZL1. Wade taking over the lead here just a couple laps ago.
you know, if Wade can pull this off tonight, I think he's going to expect me to turn him every Wednesday night.
Could work to your benefit.
Yeah, it might be his good luck charm is to have Huber spin him out on Wednesday nights.
I'll say everything I said last night, I take back.
Now, it's good to see Wade Cheetah up there. Charles Widener having a really solid night. And we're approaching, let's see, we're 27 laps in. So I think pit stops are within a lap or two here, Scott. So, you know, Charlie did a great job getting up to the lead, and now he's currently in second, just about 3 or 4 car lengths behind our leader. And we're going to start seeing pit stops really quickly here.
Should be interesting how many guys practice pit stops during practice. As we watch an orange car, not sure who that was, just dived off at corner number 4 for the pit stop. Looks like Rod Mitten, I think it was an orange car. Not used to seeing Rod in an orange car, but there he is. Monster Energy number 92 on pit road.
Have to find out about that. Yeah, now I see him there. And the 113 is also on pit road, and that's Blake Cheetah. That's one of Wade's sons. He's out there on pit lane. It looks like he's a few laps down, so had some struggles tonight, obviously.
Still a bee's nest back here behind these guys for position number 7, 8, 9th. Still side by side. Greg Mall on the inside. David Cassidy back there on the inside of the Monster Energy Camaro.
Well, somebody lit a fire under that 33 car, Vernon Margine, because he is running down the leader currently. I didn't give him credit for saving tires, but looks like that's exactly what he's done. And it looks like he is currently running down Wade Cheetah, as I expect we're within a lap or two, like I said, of pit lane. So we'll see how this all plays out. Who can beat who off pit lane? I don't see anybody else on pit lane at the moment. We'll see what happens next time by, as we got 31 laps credited on the board.
Last time by, lap times, Vernon was 2/10 faster than Wade up front there, so good race going up front here.
He's also bringing the pole sitter with him, so Michael Melfelt Jr. dropped back a little bit after qualifying on the pole, is back up challenging Vernon, or at least following him up to the lead. You can see he's caught Wade Cheetah down there as they cross the start-finish line, looking to the inside of Wade. Vernon Margine trying to get this position, trying to capture the lead. I believe this will be for the first time tonight for Vernon to lead a lap if he can complete the pass. Wade's challenging hard on the outside, though, not willing to give it up. And I do hear some guys. There is a bunch of guys on pit lane right now, so pit stops have started. I see the 03 car, Noah Rainwater, Bill Paradise, 199. The beer store car's on pit lane as well.
Bunch of guys as this battle for the lead continues. 3 wide. Milfelt thinks better of it. Tucks behind Vernon Margine in turn number 1. Maybe trying for a crossover in corner number 2. Diamonds the corner just a little bit. Can't quite get the momentum he needs to take it on the inside of Vernon that time.
I'm really enjoying this, Scott, because all 3 of these guys are due on the pit lane too. So how are they all going to do it? So it'll be kind of entertaining to watch this. And meanwhile, you got Wes Holland kind of watching all this action. He's climbed his way all the way up from 12th. Now beating on the door for 4th place. Got Wade Cheetah and Michael Melfelt Jr. He's trying to get around. Either one of these guys pitted. It looks like the 95 car, Charles Widener, Mike Erder are all headed to pit lane.
Charles Widener, I'm looking at Charles Widener just behind these guys, still on the racetrack, but coming to pit road this time, you think, Ken?
Yeah, this time I heard his radio. I hear all the leaders coming into pit lane right now, so this will be interesting to watch.
Let's go on board with roof cam right now with Charles Widener. Looks like Vernon Margine staying out, Wes Holland staying out, Vernon coming in, Wade coming in, and Charles Widener coming in.
We know that Vernon likes to run that fuel mileage game. Last year at California, he won on fuel mileage, and he's doing it right now tonight, getting an extra lap or two. We're 34 laps in, so he's done really good. So instead of Vernon saving tires, maybe he's saving fuel, Scott.
Saving something.
Anyway, I'd imagine he'd be in this time by. Yep, I think he's slowing down right now to get onto pit lane. Wes Holland should be the same. Yep. I think that's about all they have in the tank. I can't imagine going more than 35 laps.
Pit road's busy right now. Look at these cars going in and out. Johnny Hamby, Vernon Margheim, the 12. There's a 12 car there, that yellow and black car.
I can just say there's only one car on the actual racetrack, 2 or 3. Now there's a few, but I see Rod Minton on the racetrack. I can count more cars on the racetrack than there is in pit lane, and pit lane is full. And it looks like everybody's 4 tires in fuel. Nobody is going the 2-tire strategy at the moment. And so far, we're clean and green, Scott, and that's been the story of the season so far. And,
here's what I'm going to think is interesting. Vernon Margheim, we're going to go cockpit view of Vernon coming off of corner number, well, entering corner number 1 here off of pit road. Got to stay below that white line all the way to the exit of corner number 2 to get to the blue cone. I want to see where, there's Rod Minton. That's what I'm looking for, the leader. We know he pitted. He was the first one to pit road we made note of 5 or 6 laps ago. Fresh tires, that's the difference right there. Rod Minton, we weren't even talking about him being in the top 5, but takes over the lead. And Michael Milfelt, I think that's him on the outside. Whoa, almost make contact off of corner number 4 there.
That is Michael Milfelt Jr. gets by Vernon Margheim. That looks like Wes Holland is doing the same thing. But based on Vernon Margheim's strategy that last cycle, that might be all part of Vernon Margheim's plan, get that extra lap in the tank. Although with a 100-lap race there, Scott, that's 33 laps per stop approximately.
Yes.
Maybe 34 if you need to count in a green-white checkered. So.
And one of the only cars, I think Vernon, well, most of the field, right, came in with Vernon. So guys like Rod, while his strategy may look pretty solid right now, I got to kind of question that as the race continues. Ken, would you think Rod has 9 laps on his tires right now? He came in on lap 28, I believe that would be. That's pretty well shy of making it a 2-stop race.
Yeah, and I think he's probably hoping for a caution. I know he started in 22nd, so I think his strategy is to get the track position and hope for a caution might be what he's thinking. Like I said, I don't imagine any of these guys can do more than 35 laps. And like I said at the top, I thought maybe 32 we would see these guys in 33 laps. But yeah, Rod might be in a little bit of trouble if he doesn't get a caution. The other thing that's important to note, and you might be able to pick up on this with Rod being out there for a little bit longer, is there's about a 1.5 to 2-second difference between new tires and old tires. So, you know, when we get off sequence like we did at California last week, you can see some pretty big disparities on strategy.
Absolutely. We got Greg Mall right now running in 6th spot. He's been out there for 4 laps now since the last pit stop.
Well, since you mentioned Greg Mall, I think you should throw Shelley Mall up on the... Oh, you did. Oh, no, I see Greg Mall's name. So,
yep, there's Shelley there. Says, let's go, GM, which I assume has got to be Greg Mall there.
Maybe she just likes Chevys. Hey, thanks, Shelley. You know, everybody hit that like and subscribe button if you like what you're seeing out here. Scott and I put a lot of work into this. We really enjoy doing it. It's great putting on this show for Multi-League, and these drivers out here do a great job of giving us the show to watch. And I got to tell you, this year it's been kind of pleasant to watch these guys race every race. And I just, 40 laps into this race, no cautions, very difficult car to drive. Everybody's doing just a fantastic job out there.
We're on the front bumper cam of Charles Widener trying to close that gap. Last time around, he got a pretty good run off of corner number 4. Let's see if he can do the same thing here. Trying to close that gap with Greg Mall up here on the front stretch. A little bit of draft maybe. There it is. Jack of Hearts Twitter. Hashtag do it for Justin. Going into corner number 1 here at Las Vegas.
I'm just checking in with our leaders. Rod Minton still out there. He's lost about a half a second to Michael Milfelt Jr. Slowly closing in on those fresher tires. Got Wade Cheetah in that 112 car following him. So here, and I would say about another 5-6 laps, these 2 guys are going to be right on our leader's back door, and I don't think the leader's going to be able to fend them off.
I'm right with you on that strategy, Ken. Last time around, Wade with 30.4. Our leader, Rodman, with a 30.6 almost. So about a tenth or so, maybe a tenth and a half faster for these two guys, Milfelt and Wade Cheetah. What do you think, Ken, if you're Wade, at what point do you think, you know what I'm saying, like if you're following behind Michael Milfelt, you think you might be the faster car, but you got to kind of sit behind him, knowing that if you were to pass Mike, it's going to cost you just as much time as maybe sitting behind him?
Yeah, I think I'm content following Michael Milfelt Jr. at the moment. That'd probably be my strategy. And you know Wade's a smart guy. Help me talk tonight. Both
I need
guys,
help myself here.
Yeah, I know. I need more beer or something. But both of these guys are very smart, intelligent racers. And I know Wade is probably back there. These guys race on Wednesday nights too, so I kind of know how they think. They're both very strategic. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're almost working together at the moment, knowing that they're basically the first two guys, knowing that Rod Mitten's on a different strategy, different fuel timing than they are. It might be just wise just to tuck in and save tires in case guys like Wesley Holland and Werner Margheim, who are just behind them by looks like second and a half, just keep those guys, keep that distance, keep that gap.
I agree as they keep doing what they're doing, because it is certainly working. Now the interval 0.6 of a second from Rod Mitten, our leader, back to this pack of Milfelt and Wade running in second and third.
And Wesley Holland, I got to hand it to Wesley. Started in 22nd, but he started in 12th. But the way he maneuvered his way through the field, kind of interested. I want to watch the line that Werner Margheim and Wesley Holland take through the field. So they're taking just about a groove off the bottom. They're dipping it down to the bottom there on the trailing end. Wes is a little bit higher there. Just curious how they're saving their tires right now. It looks like Vern is more apt to run the bottom, and Wes just about a lane up from that.
There's some interesting bumps here at Las Vegas, as you know, Ken, from running some laps here. You can almost see the cars jump there on the entry to corner number 1. That's what I'm talking about. And from a driver's perspective, there's times when I got to make a decision. You know, it's almost like it reminds me of Iowa. There's similar bumps at Iowa Speedway as well, where you got to decide whether you're going to let off early and kind of get below those bumps, or sail in a little bit higher and try to sail a little bit higher than those bumps. But as we know, those speed bumps can kind of upset the car and make it kind of chase up the racetrack. We'll look on the onboard this time to see what Wes does. That's probably a smooth ride right there. Yeah, through turn 1 and 2 went above those bumps, so nice ride there for Wes in the 41. Speaking of the 41, we've got, let's see, let's go back a little bit here. Here to the throne says Chris Osborne, says he's here to support his boy Wes.
That's awesome. Anyway, we had a change up for the lead. Rod Mitten had finally got passed by Michael Milfelt Jr. and Wade Cheetah in the 112 car. So Rod doing a great job holding on. He's doing fairly well on those older tires, almost 10 laps older than everyone else. We're almost at the halfway point here, Scott, in a couple more laps. And then these guys are going to be looking at pit stops, I would say, laps 67 and 68, probably, based on their last set of stops.
Yeah, if you split lap 100 into thirds, that's about 33 and change. So, yeah, I've got to imagine it's about 66, 67, like you said. I got to severely question that strategy of Rod Mitten, though. If I'm in his steps here, it's nice to see him up front leading some laps on those fresh tires, but I think he's going to pay the price on the second half of this race. What do you think, Ken?
I think so, too. I mean, and like I said, when we talked about him earlier, he's going to need a caution. That strategy requires a caution. Otherwise, he might be finishing this race a lap down. Yeah. So sometimes, you know, if you don't think you have the car, it might be a wise move to try to play that gamble. Roll the dice. We're in Vegas, baby, you know, so why not? Maybe he'll draw that lucky number 7. And, and here it is. Speaking of lucky number 7, we're under caution. So that puts Rod Mitten in third place on the same fuel strategy.
Wow. Probably about the best time caution is.
He just made us all look stupid, Scott.
My apologies, Rod. You're right there in the top 3 with the best of them. So let's take a look back at David Schreck here. I'm getting a highlight lap 49, which was just 2 laps ago. Let's see if David Schreck, I'm showing, may have come up with an incident here off corner number 2. Wow. That is a hard turn to the outside wall for David Schreck. Hopefully he's okay. We'll get an interview maybe from him from the infield care center, but I gotta imagine that was a control problem. And that Hooters Ford Mustang there for Dave Trek.
Yeah, that car is done, it looks like, Scott, for sure. So hopefully he's okay. Yeah, and he looks like he got it towed right away. Meanwhile, I expect to see every person on pit lane tonight. Wade Cheetah is going to lead everybody to pit road. And I imagine it's 4 tires and fuel. And this is going to change things up. And now they're in a situation where short pitting might be the order of the day from here on out.
Yeah, this kind of opens the gap for guys that can maybe stretch the fuel mileage.
I don't think
guess
anybody...
not 50 laps, but it could open the gap for people pitting early, like I said, short pitting this thing.
Yeah, I'm wondering, let's see what happened to Dave Shrek. I wonder if we should bring him up to the booth here. I'm looking for his team here. Yeah, I'm not seeing...
I see him. I see Dave. Let's talk to Dave Shrek. Talk to me, buddy, if you're here, if you got a copy. What happened there off of the backstretch? Looks like maybe a control problem or something just breaking the car there and sending to the inside wall. Dave, you got a copy? Nope, he does not, so...
Oh, yeah, I'm here, sorry.
Oh,
There's Dave. Hey, Dave, what's going on? It's Scott Patton and Ken Huber in the booth at the Multi-League Racing Network. We watched the replay of you there off corner number 2, getting a hard left turn into the inside wall there. Number 1, I want to make sure that you're okay coming out of the infield care center. And number 2, talk to me. Was it a control problem off there, corner number 2?
Yeah, my wheel turned off. When that happens, you have no control.
That will certainly do it here, but glad you're okay.
Goes to show that we can have mechanical issues in virtual racing as well.
Yeah,
and that was definitely a mechanical issue.
I'd been fighting it for, I don't know, last 4 or 5 laps with no feeling in the wheel, and all of a sudden it just turned off. It's like, uh-oh.
Hey, while we got you, Dave, how are the cars behaving out there on the track?
I'm sorry, Kim was talking.
Yeah, how are the cars behaving on the track? I did lose signal there for a second, so I apologize. I think my internet was about to give up. But are the cars getting loose out there, tight? How are they feeling?
Well, I was having wheel issues, so my car felt loose the whole night. I have a feeling it was more wheel issues than the track or the car.
All right. Well, you think you're going to be able to get it repaired and get back out there, or are you kind of done for the night?
Well, I have 15 minutes of repair left to do, so we'll see.
That's a lot of damage. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Dave. We'll send you back to your team, and good luck on the rest of your night.
Thanks.
The clearly dejected Dave Shrek in the Hooters Ford Mustang number 9. Looks like the picker is still changing tires in that car, but probably going to be a pit road here. Maybe they should grab a ice cream bar or a beer or two.
Yeah, it looks like we got Luke Rainwater in the chat. Rainwater crew is here to support the 03. And that 03, where is that 03 right now? Noah has been moving backwards. He's in the 20th position. Actually, he's on pit lane. So I don't know, something wrong with that 03 car there. Scott hasn't left pit lane yet.
There he is, still getting tires changed. There. Looks like the jack just dropped on that Forward Bite podcast. Hey, Luke, or if anybody knows out there what the Forward Bite podcast, talk to us about that. We're always here to support local sponsors and see what that's all about.
Anyway, the lights are out in the pace car. We have got 1 lap to go. On the inside, Christopher Davis, I believe the pole sitter took the outside. That's Wade Cheetah. I think Wade Cheetah was leading on the way out. I could be mistaken. No, I'm showing Christopher Davis in the lead. So Christopher Davis will lead us to the green flag. Wade Cheetah on his outside. Michael Melfelt Jr. on the inside back there in 3rd, having a solid night. Werner Margheim in another white and blue car in that 4th position, starting on the outside. Rod Mitten rolled that lucky die number 7 and is going to start in 5th on the inside of Jack Watts, who's in that 77 car, who's starting 6th.
There's your top 6 or so. Then we're back to Charles Widener, Matt Ronaloso, Brad Ream, and Heath Smith, rounding out your top 10 starters here. Coming to green, who do you want to go on board with, Ken, for this restart?
I don't know. Jack Watts looks like he might have a nice view of the action up front.
Sure, let's go. Let's go Jack Watts cockpit cam. Let's see what Jack can do on this start here. Coming to the Geico restart zone. On the outside, starting in 5th, 77 to Jack Watts on the hammer. Green flag is out, 54. We're over halfway on this already, Ken. Looking at the rear bumper of Vernon Margheim. Michael Milfeld Jr. there on the inside.
Yeah, I really enjoy these onboard views. You can see Jack Watts diving to the inside right behind that orange 92 of Rod Minton. And it looks like they're getting it single file.
Vernon Margheim with some issues on that start. Looks like he dropped 2 or 3 spots off pace in turn 1 and 2. Gets gathered back up. Right back on the loud pedal in 3 and 4. Who's that purple car back there? Matt Rodoloso. Haven't given much TV time to him there, but the Monster Energy Chevy car here of Matt Rodoloso. From Team Worldwide. I just learned about that team today. We got to give them a shout out here. Vernon again off pace here. Gets a little bit out of the groove, maybe into the marbles there off corner number 2. Matt Rodoloso looking to take advantage. Dives to the inside in corner number 3 here to the inside. To the white line. Can't quite get it done. I got to imagine Vernon's got to be able to pull him off at corner number 4 here.
Yeah, and I believe Michael Milfeld Jr. and Vernon Margheim got together. We weren't watching it, but that's what caused Vernon Margheim to slip back, because I heard some apologies coming over the radio. So I don't think there's any damage on that car except for Vern's ego right at the moment, and that probably trying to get his thoughts gathered back up and try to run it back up front. We know Vernon's fast, so I wouldn't expect that position of 7th that he's 6th that he's currently holding to last much longer. He'd probably work his way back up front.
Looking at Michael Milfeld now in 2nd spot, trying to chase down Wade Cheetah in the lead from Craig Assign Motorsports. Across the start-finish line, lap number 58 going on the board here. In the chat, we've got PUHSU says, "Where is drain water?" I gotta imagine that's got to be a reference to the 03 maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's got to be one of his buds giving him a hard time. It looks like he's struggling. Oh, there's something wrong with that car. As a matter of fact, I happened to check on the 03, and he's way off pace. Slow on the backstretch. Looks like he's headed pit lane again, so something wrong with that car.
I don't see a D on the front of his name, though. I'm seeing rainwater. He keeps calling him drain water. I don't know if that's... I know he's giving him a hard time, but...
I just seen it, Scott. He's collected the wall or something. That right front on that car is totally gone, and we're under caution.
Caution again. Sure. I think we have a highlight here. No, let's see here. Let's see if I can find one. Corner number 4. Let's find... Oh! Hard right corner to the... Let's back that one up if we can. Let's back that up. A corner number 4. Let's go... Cockpit cam, maybe. Slow motion. Corner number 4. Here's rainwater in the 03. Just grabs the apron. Overcorrects to the right. Almost collects the 20 of Calvin Miller. Hard into the wall. That'll do the damage on the right front there of Noah Rainwater. Under caution, lap number 60 on the board. Yeah,
I imagine those repairs are going to be extensive. So here's a question for you, Scott. As these guys come around and thinking about pit lane, we're going to have, probably when we go green, 37. The most we've seen drivers run is 35 laps, and so now we're looking at about 37 laps when we take the green flag. Do you think there's probably going to be some guys that might try to stretch that fuel out?
I know there's going to be some guys that are going to try it. And if I were in that lane, if I were in this race starting, I don't know, from 12th on back, let's call it David Cassidy as my pick. David Cassidy on back, my suggestion would be come pit road, top that off with 1 to go, and know with confidence you can make it to the end and put the pressure on these guys up front to run the fuel mileage race and pedal it.
Yeah, and it's so close. I think if anybody's going to pedal it, you're going to have to do it with 1 lap to go. Hit the pit lane, get that thing topped off, and that's going to kind of secure maybe the chance that you can even make it. I think at this point, even under these caution laps, it's so tight on fuel, to ask another maybe 2.5 laps out of the car is going to be pretty tough. But you're right. There's going to be guys that's going to try it. The first guy that I'm coming to mind of is Vernon Margheim. See, Vernon is running back there in 5th. So it'd be interesting if he does hit the pit lane, maybe staying out there a couple extra laps, see if he's going to stretch it into a fuel mileage race. I don't know. We'll see.
The only way I can see that going wrong is if you're in Vernon. I'm with you on the fuel mileage race, right? I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. If Vernon is that in tune with how far he can make it and what's left in the race here, which he probably is, because he won his race last year at California on a fuel mileage race. If he comes to pit road with 1 to go, how much track position does he lose? And if there's a caution later in this race, which we've already been on our second or third caution already, he could be stuck back in 15th, 20th plus position.
26th to be exact there, Scott. I just looked at the leaderboard. He would fall all the way back to 26 unless somebody goes to pit lane with him.
But then I'm thinking for the second half of this race, he finds himself in, let's call it 26th spot, trying to race back up to the front. A yellow comes out, let's say around lap 75 or 80. Everybody comes to pit road, and now Vernon is still stuck in 20th plus spot and loses his chance to win this race.
Well, there's a bunch of cars on pit lane right now taking that gamble, and we are in Vegas after all, but it doesn't look like at the moment Vernon Margheim is going to take that gamble, which might be the smart move. You know, hedging his money on a safer bet, maybe with a smaller payout. But you know what they say, you don't take the risk. You might not see yourself kiss the victory later in the winner's circle at the end of the race too.
Yeah, so we could be looking at one of our winners maybe on pit road. James Hearns comes to mind here, coming off the pit road, topping off with fuel. I'm honestly surprised, Ken, that more guys did not come to pit road. All these guys up front are 10 plus laps, 10, 11 laps on fuel.
If I was 15th on back, I'd definitely head to pit lane. I probably would have stayed out in this situation. It is kind of one of those things that kind of makes you nervous. The lights are probably going to go out on the pace car next time by, so nobody's going to be allowed to head to pit lane right now because pit lane will be closed. So they've kind of made their bed now at this point. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Moore didn't take it. And like I said, we're going to take the green flag with 37 laps to go. It would be tight, though. You're going to have to do a lot of clutching around this track, which is already difficult to drive. And that might be part of the factor in this, too. It's like, wow, this car is super hard to drive, and now you're asking me to clutch it around these corners, too. It might be a tall order.
Exactly. Let's go back to 22nd spot. Wally Tierhammer in the Ford Mustang Dutch Bros car. It's his fan Martha Tierhammer saying, "I'm here, Wally. Good luck. Go get him, buddy."
We are side by side. We're re-racking and stacking the action here at Las Vegas Speedway. On the inside, Wade Cheetah. Hey, at the start of this season there, Scott, we both kind of picked Wade as being one of those rising stars in this series this year. And he's had a couple tough races, both at Daytona and at California last week. But tonight, he's showing why we picked him. He's up front, been up front most of the night, and he's going to take everybody to the green flag.
That he is in the CQC Power Sports Chevy ZL1. CQC Power Sports, which I learned when I painted these cars for these guys. Blake and Austin are Wade's sons, and they have a motorcycle team that they race out in Minnesota every week. Pretty cool team there, but it's their own design logo, own design race team. They race motorcycles part-time on the weekends. Pretty cool to see them incorporate their actual race hobbies in real life with the iRacing series here at Multi-League Stone River Outfitter Cup Series. Leading this thing, 63 laps on the board, about to come to the flag of 64. Lights are out on the pace car. Rod Mitten there, who caught the lucky break there with that previous yellow flag, brings him down in third spot. Green flag is out. Let's go racing for the second half of this thing.
And you can see there, Wade Cheetah gets a nice start there, gets away from Michael Melfeld Jr. Down on the inside, Rod Mitten in that orange car that you just spoke of trying to get that position away from Michael Melfeld Jr. Michael Melfeld Jr. has been strong all night, but it looks like right at the moment that 92's got the advantage, might be able to slip up on the outside there and does so. Meanwhile, back just behind them, you got Jack Watts and the 95 working hard on the outside to get that position back. Charlie fell back a little bit in the mid part of this race, now charging his way back up front. So Charles Widener running his way past Jack Watts there on the outside.
Just behind them, Vernon Margheim and Greg Mull making some aggressive moves there again by Matt Rodoloso. Now Vernon Margheim looking to dive to the inside, cross those bumps here, got to check up just a little bit and give that spot. I think that Vernon gets into the wall on the outside. Greg ducks to the inside to assure that he doesn't come off the wall and get collected, but some damage probably on the right side of that GTR simulator Chevy ZL1 of Vernon Margheim.
Yeah, back to the Jack Watts Charles Widener battle back there for fifth. Jack Watts slipped down now on the inside. These guys just don't want to give up this position they're currently in, racing each other really hard. You can see Jack Watts down on the inside trying to make the bottom work. Charlie has the momentum on the outside, especially out of two. That outside lane out of two is the better lane, but then down here in 3 and 4, the inside kind of picks up a little bit more steam. And but it looks like Jack Watts is going to fall victim to potentially Vernon Margheim after slapping the wall.
I think especially as they reach the northbound side of the racetrack here in turn 1 and 2, that Highland I think is even more dominant here, especially in turn 1 and 2. Vernon, I think if he can avoid those bumps, which he does, and potentially avoid the wall here this time off corner number 2, does so with great success and carries on momentum. Jack Watts forced to give up that position to Vernon Margheim.
Yep, Wes Holland back there, kind of mired back there in 10th. So Wes Holland charged his way to the front, but haven't seen much from him after that there, Scott. Back there in 10th. Just gained a position, I believe, over Matt Radaloso. Currently working on the 61 car, Brad Ream, but 41 car so far mired back there in 10th. And thank you, Captain Grog, for the shout out. Glad to see you like the action out here.
Captain Grog says checking in from work. Some good action going on here. Let us know in the chat where you guys are all from here. Let's see, we got some chats going on here, trying to keep track of everything, but if you're in there, let us know where you're reaching us from and how you like the coverage here on Multi-League Racing Network. And more importantly, let us know any suggestions you have for the future, because all these new features that you see are, I can tell you 100%, the brainstorming of other members here who make suggestions along the way, and we do the research and we figure out how to incorporate it here to make this the place to watch the best racing action as we're watching Wes Holland on the inside of Brad Ream for position number 8, I believe that is. Takes a spot from Brad Ream off corner number 2.
Speaking of another battle on the track, Rod Minton tried to make an attempt for that second position. Couldn't quite make it work, had to fall back in line behind Michael Melfeld Jr., currently running in second. So Rod is hungry. He used that strategy to get up front, and now he wants to get all the way up front, but he's under a lot of pressure. That 95, Charles Weiner, started the race up front, fell back quite a bit, as I said, mid-range, and now working on both of our leaders right now. Vernon Margheim, our wall slapper. Oh, and then Greg Mall gets a little sideways, trying to cut down underneath Vernon Margheim. You can see Vernon now trying to cut Greg Mall off. Can't quite get down to the bottom.
I like Wes Holland's position here, sailing on the inside in turn number 3, full throttle, looking to take advantage of those guys' slight mistakes here over the last lap and a half or so.
Yeah, these guys are throwing everything at it. We got 29 to go, Scott. The interesting thing now that probably none of these guys are going to be able to make it. I think 35 laps is max. How many do you think are going to short pit, and get that tire advantage and be able to get some advantage on fresh tires rather than try to stick it out for 30-some laps?
We're about to find out. What'd you say, about 37 to go? Was that sound about right?
Yeah, I think it was 37, 38 laps when we got the green flag.
So if we split that exactly in half, we're talking 18 laps or so to go, which would put us at lap 82 if my math is right, so about 9 laps from now. But if the guys are going to short pit from the halfway point, we could see guys coming in as early as 3 or 4 laps from now.
Yeah, and these guys that are running up front, they look like they're running pretty hard, so I imagine their tires are going to be screaming after 20 laps. Looking at Greg Mall, well, actually, I want to say Wes Holland now. On the inside of that 33 car, Vernon Margheim, Wes Holland trying to get back up front, so as soon as I called out his name, being mired back there in 10th, he's all the way back up to 5th. So Wes Holland is back on the charge to get up front. Now looking at the back bumper of that 95 car, that Lowe's car of Charles Widener. Looking on the inside, going into 3, seeing if he can make something happen there, get the momentum off the corner. So far, can't quite get under that 95 car, but I imagine he'll be there in turn 1.
I think that summary right there shows you Wes Holland's day, as high as 2nd, as low as 24th. He's run the gamut of the field here from the top to the bottom, minus position number 1, which I'm sure he's looking at eyeballing with 25 laps to go here.
Yeah, these cars are running hard, though. He's got Vernon Margheim putting some pressure on. Now Vernon gets into the corner a little too hard, goes high. But I thought he was going to put a lot of pressure on Wes Holland, because Wes Holland's struggling getting behind that, or getting by that 95 car, Charles Widener. Charles Widener making that car as wide as possible, trying to hold on to that track position. I think most of these guys know they got one more pit stop left. They're just going to burn these tires off to the best of their ability. We got probably 5-6 more laps before some of them probably be headed to pit lane. And oh, here we go. Speaking of which, got Michael Melfeld Jr. and the 41 car, Jack Watts, all headed to pit lane.
See if these guys can make it safely. One of the most dangerous things here coming to pit road when guys are full speed behind you. Everybody does it. Jack Watts smoking up the tires here, hopefully down to pit road speed, which you got to imagine is around 45 miles an hour, maybe 50 miles an hour today. But it was one thing in the first couple of green flag stops or under caution when guys were all coming in together, but now you got a kind of a split field strategy here, Ken.
Yep, and here's where you got to have patience. If you're the leader of Wade Cheetah, I mean, this is where you got to use a lot of patience. If you're going to split this race in half and you see everybody behind you come into pit lane, you got to kind of just put that out of your mind, knowing that you're going to come out with fresher tires and hopefully be able to run these guys back. Because I can tell you, Wade, after he makes his pit stop, is not going to be leading this race. So does Wade have the patience to stay out there and not cave to the pressure and take those newer tires and try to run our leaders back down? That's going to be the big question I have.
I think you may know the answer to that question, Ken. When I think of Wade, I know he is disciplined. He knows where the checkered flag is, and he knows how to get there. He's collected plenty of them in his past, and he knows exactly what needs to be done. So I hear you when you talk about it can be frustrating when these guys make pit stops and it cycles through and you find yourself 4 or 5 seconds behind the lead because of the difference on those fresher tires. But somebody like Wade, I think, has enough experience under his belt to know that what he's got to do is just run his laps the way he's going to do it and let the race come to him, knowing do some math and watch that lead tick down. In the meantime, we'll see what the interval is as maybe comes to pit road. Nope, choose to stay out that time.
And I think that's a smart way. I like Wade's strategy here, Scott, I have to admit, and we're not to the halfway cycle of these tires, so he can go probably 3 more laps before he's at the halfway cycle of the tires. And then I would say within a lap or 2, he'll be on and he'll split the difference. He'll come out probably 3 seconds behind, 3 or 4 seconds, like you said, behind our leaders. And as long as that caution doesn't come out, that might be play to his advantage right now.
Let me ask you this, Ken. When I'm racing, things that I'm thinking about is when I'm thinking about splitting, whether I'm going to short pit or not, things that come to mind are, as we watch Greg Mall right now, almost overshoot the pit road entry, comes to the cone, doesn't smoke the tires, gets it down to speed there. Nice job by Greg. But things that come to mind are how aggressively have I been moving through traffic? How much have I been abusing the tires? And if I was abusing the tires a lot, I'm more apt to consider short pitting, knowing that I can hopefully take care of the tires on the second half of the run. But if I'm somebody like Wade out in the front where I'm just kind of cruising, doing my thing with not a whole lot of challenge, I'm more apt to split it exactly in half and maybe run it even a little bit further beyond halfway, just like Wade is doing here.
Yeah, so next time by, it will be the halfway. So if he's going to do it at the halfway point, it's going to be next time by, Scott. So it'll be interesting whether he stays. I think, like I said, Wade's a smart guy. I think that might be the right decision. Maybe stay out a lap or 2, but you ain't going to have much time to. We're going to have maybe 17 laps when he gets his pit stop done. So he doesn't have a lot of time to make up that. So he's going by again. So he's actually going past the halfway point on tires.
There it is. We talked about 18 to go is the halfway point. There's 83 on the board, leaves 17 laps on the board. Now we're getting to that yellow zone in my mind, right? I'm thinking Wade's got to be cautious here, right? You can't give up too much time because you got to put the hammer down once you do come out of pit road with those fresh Goodyears with only roughly 16 or 15 laps potentially left to go. We'll see what he does off of corner number 4 this time.
Yeah, he's doing it again, still going around, so we'll see. But, these guys, the guys that went in before him, they didn't split the difference. They came in early, so their tires are going to be a lot older at the end of the run, so maybe that's what Wade's thinking. We got the 42 on pit lane, by the way, and looks like we got a couple of the 18 car exiting pit lane, so a couple guys on pit lane at the moment.
Kind of a split strategy all the way around. And the other thing that comes to mind, Ken, is this is where you got to be really cautious about yellow flags too, only because you've got guys we mentioned on the pit road entry, split field, guys coming on various laps. You got to watch for that pit road entry and not run guys over and cause a wreck off corner number 4, as well as the fact that you mentioned the delta between fresh tires and old tires is 2+ seconds. These guys now are making laps and running up on guys a lot quicker than anticipate. And likewise, guys with older tires are, driving up the racetrack, pushing where they didn't think they were going to push earlier in the run. And that's where incidents are more likely to happen. As we watch Wade this time still on the racetrack. And
I got to say, at this point, I liked his strategy at first, Scott, and now I don't because he's actually running near the end of the window here. And the problem I have with this is now a caution, right? So if a caution comes out, he's going to start. Oh, God, we got, let's see. Well, currently we got 8 cars on the lead lap, but there's going to be a bunch of wave around. So currently running after he pits. Looks like he'll be in 9th place because everybody behind him hasn't pit as well. So I don't know. I'd probably would have got nervous and headed to pit lane. We'll see if his strategy pays off.
I'm concerned about the amount of time that he's going to have to make up the difference on the tires because,
absolutely.
like you said,
Yep.
he is not going to be the leader. I can guarantee you that when he makes his pit stop, whenever it may be. But how much time is going to have left on the scoreboard here in the top left corner?
Yeah, I was good for maybe 2-3 extra laps,
Right.
but now I'm like nervous.
I'm with you. Wade,
Yeah.
we were pulling for you, but now we're concerned. But prove us wrong, buddy.
Yeah, I hope he does, man. I like being wrong. So, but he's staying out there. I wonder. Well, here's another thing, Scott. Can we get in his cockpit? Can we see what he's doing? Is he is he maybe saving fuel? There could be that option out there.
Here we go. Inside the cockpit. There's no clutch there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we're going to have, we got 13-12 to go next time by. It still doesn't look like he's headed to pit lane. Still going to run this out.
Here's this time.
Here
This
he goes.
time. Yep.
Well, we'll have to watch and see where he comes out and how much time he's going to have to make up. He's basically going to have about 11 laps to run down whoever the current leader is going to be, which I believe might be Michael Melfelt Jr. when this thing cycles around. Currently, Michael Melfelt Jr. is a lap down in the 6th position, but I believe he's going to be our leader when this thing cycles around.
I think you're absolutely right. Wade hits his pit box right there. Let's find where Michael Melfelt is on the racetrack. There he is in corner number 3 and 4, passing Jeff Gilmore. I believe that's going to be technically for the lead lap, but then he's going to come around one more time still, I think, to pass Wade, who's still sitting on pit road. Hopefully his pit crew isn't eating ice cream.
I hope so too, Scott. But that's a huge gap, and with only 10 laps to go after next time by when Michael Melfelt Jr. comes out, that's I don't know that he's got enough time to do anything with that.
Well, we don't know what the gap is yet. Let's try to find Wade here.
Oh, there's I heard that Wade had a good pit stop there from his competition there. Actually, I take that back, Scott. We were both wrong. Wade Cheetah passed Michael Melfelt Jr. on pit lane. So, wow, we were both wrong. So,
but
yeah,
did
I feel
Wade,
even more stupid.
Hey, here's a note to make. Last time in his box, Wade Cheetah with a 6.6 second stop. That to me screams either maybe 2 tires or just fuel. But you can see the difference
and he's
there.
Getting past. It must have been fuel, yeah. Oh, yeah, and I hear his radio, his team chattering that it was fuel only. And you see Michael Melfelt Jr. going by on the outside. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a tough break there for Wade. I mean, sometimes he rolled the dice, you know. Both these guys are not in the lead, though. Michael Melfelt Jr. is not in the lead. Jeff Gilmore, Christopher Davis, James Hearns are your top 3. These guys have not pitted, and I also wonder if they topped off right at the end of that run on that last caution and are trying to squeeze this thing out on a fuel mileage race.
Absolutely. A lot of interesting strategy going on here. Hard to keep track of here, but there's Jeff Gilmore and Christopher Davis. That's technically the battle for the lead, and those guys we're pretty confident cannot make it the rest of the way here.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident. I wonder if we can hop in maybe Christopher Davis's car and see what he's doing behind the wheel there and see if he's trying to save fuel.
There we are, cockpit view off corner number 4. We'll see what he does in corner number 1. Your race leader, Christopher Davis, coming to 7 to go.
All kinds of gambling here tonight, Scott.
That's what it's about. I'd say if you're not running the top 5, why not, right?
So it looks like Jeff Gilmore, his gamble isn't going to pay off. Jeff Gilmore just announced that he's headed pit lane in that 57 Miller machine. So he's going to give up that 2nd position, and that's going to mean that James Hearns is going to inherit it. In the 78 car, he'll be in 2nd. See if these guys can make it on field. But we're going to have, we're just about 6 to go, 5 to go next time by.
So now we're concerned about Chris Davis, James Hearns in 2nd there. And then we're back up to Jeff Gilmore, who we know is on pit road. And then we circle back to that battle for Michael Melfelt and Wade Cheetah. Looks like that gap has opened up to the better part of 2 seconds here.
Wade Cheetah's in big trouble. He's going to lose all kinds of positions here. He's got the pack all on him right now. He's going to lose, it looks like, 5-6 positions here on those older tires. So struggling.
There's the Hornet's Nest coming up on him. .38 Christopher Davis coming in this time. We see a car slow on the apron there, corner number 3. Greg Mall looking to the inside of Vernon Margheim. This is going to be for position number 4, which will be presumably position number 3. Podium finish here as Christopher Davis, I'm sure, will cycle down the leaderboard here.
Yep. So none of those guys can make it. Probably hoping for a caution that they didn't get. Michael Milfelt Jr. is going to inherit the lead with 5 to go. 4 to go, actually, next time by. And he's got a sizable lead out there. He's got about 2 seconds over Vernon Margheim. I imagine Vernon Margheim's trying to run him down. Greg Mall on the back of Vernon Margheim. So this is the battle for 1, 2, 3 after we cycle back around.
There it is. There's the gap from Vernon Margheim's car. Let's go on board. You can see Michael Milfelt out front there. Let's do some rough math here. Last time by Vernon Margheim with 30.75. Milfelt Jr. with a 30.95. 0.2 faster for Vernon that time. To fill up a gap of 1.7 divided by 0.2. That tells me he needs 8 laps to get there. There's only 4 to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road for Vernon to hoe, but had a solid night tonight. Had some struggles, but currently running in that 2nd position. Greg Mall running in 3rd. Both those guys having a great night. Wesley Holland couldn't quite get past 4th, still out there running in 4th. Under pressure now from Rod Mitten in that orange 92 car. That Toyota Camry is trying to grab that 4th position away from Wes Holland currently.
Rod Mitten about a 10th faster than Wes that time, but Wes holds off position number 4 here. As we come down to the stripe, 3 laps to go for your race leader. Michael Milfelt 1.6 seconds over Vernon Margheim for 2nd.
Yeah, actually it's 2 to go, Scott. We're going to have the white flag next time by, and Michael Milfelt Jr. in solid control of this race. I don't believe that Vernon Margheim has a chance to run him down. However, Vernon Margheim is fighting for that 2nd position. He's got Greg Mall hunting for that 2nd position. This time by, we're going to see the white flag as Michael Milfelt Jr. crosses the line for the last lap here at Las Vegas Speedway.
There it is. Flagman's got the white flag out. Last time by, next flag ends this race. Definitely not ending under caution here. Watching this battle for 2nd, Greg Mall looking on the inside of Vernon Margheim. I don't know, he's close enough to make a move here.
Yeah, I think those guys squared away. We got a battle here. Wes Holland trying to, looks like Rod Mitten got around him for 4th. Wes Holland trying to hold on that top 5 spot on the inside of Charles Widener. He's going to lose that to Charles Widener, so Wes Holland struggling here at the end. Anyway, our winner, Michael Milfelt Jr. pulls it off tonight there, Scott.
There it is. That's battle for 4th, 5th. Give it to Rod Mitten, Charles Widener, and Wes Holland finishing 6th. Jack Watts 7th. Bazell, Daytona 500 winner from last year, and 9th. And Johnny John Deere number 70 rounding up the top 10. We'll get interviews here coming up shortly, as well as the full standings here. Back with you momentarily.
I'm going to run and talk to the NASCAR officials really quick. I'll be right back, Scott.
All right, sounds good.
So, Scott, I've asked radio team, so we're going to interview our winner, our race winner. That's going to be Michael Milfelt Jr., but I've also asked Wade Cheetah's team to be present, so we can have a talk with Wade Cheetah to see what was going on in that young man's brain.
All right, I don't know if do we have Wade in radio communication?
Went down and talked to the officials. They're trying to summon him over to TeamSpeak as we speak.
All right, looking to get that queued up here, and we'll have why don't we go over maybe the finishing order while waiting for those to...
Absolutely. What a great race tonight, too.
That was cool. Hopefully the fans enjoyed it. If you're in the chat, let us know what your favorite part was, who you're pulling for, and where they finished tonight, and most importantly, where you're from, where you're watching the Multi-League Racing Network from here. As we go over our unofficial results, Michael Milfeld Jr. race winner tonight. Vernon Margheim in second for the second week in a row. Greg Mall in third, Rod Mitten fourth, Charles Widener in fifth, Wes Holland sixth, Jack Watson seventh, Wade Cheetah, we'll talk about in a minute here, in eighth, Brian Bazell, Johnny Hamby from Georgia down south, rounding up the top 10 here.
Yeah, and in 11th position, Eric Talent in that green number 5. Matt Rodoloso will finish in 12th in the 13 car. Calvin Miller in the 20 car will finish 13th. Christopher Davis will finish the race in 14th. David Cassidy 15th. Billy Bumgardner 16th. Trent Drum will finish in 17th, not start. Wally Tierheimer will finish in 18th. Boy, it's been a long night already, Scott, I can tell. Bob Wells will finish in 19th, and Bill Paradise wraps out your top 20.
21st, James Hearns, one of our Canadians, followed by Jeff Gilmore, one of our other Canadians here, and Christopher Voiles, 23rd, Mike Erder, the Dart, 24th, Brad Ream, Heath Smith, rounding out the 13th row, finishing. These guys are all one lap down. John Henderson, 27th, Rob Haynes, 28th, Noah Rainwater in that 03 car, had a rough night, 12 laps down. David Schreck, we saw his wreck, steering wheel issues to the inside wall, led him to be 28 laps down, right up to top 30.
Yeah, in 31st, it'd be Blake Cheetah will finish in 31st. Joe Marks in 32nd, and that was the entire field. 32 cars started here at Las Vegas. Meanwhile, we got Michael Milfeld Jr. Queued up in the green room. Would you like to have a chat with our race winner there, Scott?
Sure, Michael Milfeld Jr., our race winner here tonight. How's it feel, buddy? Win number 1 on the season. I don't think you had any wins on the season last season from what I can remember, but I wouldn't say necessarily dominating fashion, but put the race together from start to finish. Excellent strategy, excellent lines through the corners here, clicking off laps here. And how's it feel to be top of the board here after 100 laps in Sin City, Las Vegas?
It feels good. It's hard to put everything together, especially with all these guys. Every one of them was so good. You cannot make a mistake anywhere.
Exactly. Certainly, we didn't see many mistakes from drivers tonight. If you were counting on a caution, you certainly didn't get it tonight, but I don't think you needed it, and I think you outran them start to finish from the get-go. What did the car feel like? Talking about the way the car handled throughout the night and the pit strategy, how was it different from the beginning of the tire run throughout the end of the tire run there?
It got looser the longer you ran, but the biggest difference was getting behind another car. It would push so bad when you got in dirty air. Certainly.
And how different was the corners of the racetrack? Turn 1 and 2, we know there's some bumps there in the corner, in the entry of corner 1 and 2. Was it difficult to kind of navigate those bumps and decide where you want to be when it comes to passing lap cars or other competition? And then as opposed to turn 3 and 4, was 3 and 4 more kind of flat out, or did you have to still lift as the tires wore throughout the fuel run?
Yeah, you still had to lift in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, it was a little safer to go run a little higher. As you ran lower, the bumps were worse.
Cool, sounds good. We're showing that Federated Auto Parts Toyota Camry. Look sharp there in the 155 car. We'll get a win sticker put on for you this week as we prepare for Phoenix next week. What do you got there in the flat truck 1 mile out in the desert of Arizona?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, I can't do any better, so hopefully I don't do worse.
You just got to do the same. Just come with the same pit crew, the same
Mike,
preparation.
There's always the possibility of putting the whole field a lap down. Come on, you can always do better. That's the way you got to get in the right mindset there. So no, congrats on that win. I had to chime in and say congrats on the win. It brings a smile to Scott and I's face to see that 155 Federated machine up front. So I just want to congratulate myself.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it, Mike. Anybody you want to thank for your win here tonight on the Multi-League Racing Network, round number 3 of the Stone River Outfitter Cup Series?
Thank you guys for doing such a great job on the broadcast. Thank you, Scott, for the paint. Thank Kim and all the admins for doing such a great job with the league.
Sounds good. Short and sweet. I like it, Mike. Just like your laps there. clicking them down. Awesome job here. We saw you out front there by a comfortable margin, and looking forward to seeing what you can do next week on the flat track at Phoenix. We'll see you then, Michael Milfelt, our race winner here at Las Vegas. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
All right, there it is. Ken, your race winner. Michael Milfelt Jr. doing some burnouts on the front stretch here. We saw a little bit ago. Let's talk to, you want to talk to Wade here, Ken?
Yeah. Hey, Wade, you're up here with Scott and I in the booth. Hey, great job, I guess, getting that 8th place finish. You want to talk to Scott and I how you might have got in 8th place?
Hi, Scott. Hi, Ken.
What's up, Wade?
Yeah, had the CQCPowersports.com Camaro was running really good tonight. Team gave me a great car.
I totally agree.
And we figured out a line that was working for us pretty early on. And then we got that mid-race caution that kind of threw out the window just doing a 2-stop race. And so I had kind of locked in on a strategy, right? I hoped that everyone else was just going to stay out and do a splash and go at the end. And, I saw the first group peel off into the pits and thought, okay, well, that's half a dozen, 8 guys. Yeah, there's still a pretty good pack left out here on the track. Next lap, another half a dozen or 8 went in. Okay, well, now we're down to under half the field that's still out here, and then the third group went, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to ride this out a couple laps. These guys are going to get really racy. Maybe we'll catch a caution right now. And that never materialized. So
I got to tell you that you got lots of TV time tonight. Scott and I were up here in the booth rooting for you, watching everything. I'm going to tell you, you're going to kick yourself when you watch the broadcast. So you might not want to watch the last 20 laps of the broadcast because Scott and I were telling you on the strategy, okay, this is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. Wait a second. He's staying out. It's like, and then you came out and you got ahead of Michael Milfelt Jr. And
so
I was
see,
confused.
the strategy worked a little bit.
It worked for 5 laps or maybe 2 laps.
A half a lap.
Or maybe a fifth of a lap.
Yeah. No, but that was a good run. We really enjoyed seeing you up front tonight. We brought you up here because you had probably the most interesting race of the night. And so that's why we brought up here. Scott and I are doing something a little bit different with the driver interviews. It was great seeing you get that run up front tonight and then getting that 8th place finish. I know it's a little disappointing, but at least you can keep your head up with a great run, basically leading a good percentage of this race tonight. But now that you kind of got the struggles from the first 2 races out of the way and you got a decent finish here at Las Vegas, what are you going to do for us at Phoenix?
Well, first I'm going to hire a new crew chief to
well advised.
Make some better calls on pit strategy.
Now, here's what I would suggest. And I never suggest this to any other drivers, right? But because some of the other drivers, they watch the broadcast while they're racing. And then like Jason Hughes, perfect example. If we get talking about Jason Hughes, I guarantee he's going to put it in the wall or something like that's going to happen. Slide through the grass. But with you might want to watch the broadcast because Scott and I are giving a few little tips out there that might help you out tonight.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like I got the broadcaster's curse after that first race. You guys picked me as a driver to watch.
You say broadcasters as in multiple. I want to say that Ken Huber is taking the helm on cursing drivers. So you can take that up with Ken.
That's true. I've got the most wins when it comes in that department.
Yeah, so I'm just going to keep coming out and keep rolling with whatever's dealt to me. So.
All right. Well, Wade, that was a good run. We really enjoyed watching you tonight. Scott, what do you got? You got anything for him before we send him back to the team?
I want to ask you, Wade, a little bit slightly off topic, but we gave CQC Power Sports some TV time tonight and mentioned that as far as I knew about him, but what can you tell me about CQC Motorsports? And I know you're racing out there in Minnesota. Is it motorcycles? Is that right? And when does the season start for you?
Yeah, we're really excited to get back to racing with CRA in Minnesota. I'm the team manager for CQC Power Sports, and my son Austin is the team rider, and Blake, who you also see out here, is also a team rider. And so we run the CRA series, and we're going to make a run at joining in the Pro Series this year with Moto America and Stock 1000. So we got a lot going on.
Wow, sounds like a busy season coming up. Nonetheless, good to see that logo out there in the paint schemes. We talk about Blade, and maybe we'll see Austin. Does Austin race these Cup cars, or is he a little bit too timid about them?
Definitely no timid in that guy. It's all just a scheduling thing. So he's busy, and he sure gets here when he can.
All right, sounds good, Wade. Congrats on top 10 finish nonetheless. Plenty of TV time for CQC Motors Power Sports, and looking forward to see what you can do at the flat track next week at Phoenix. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, you and I have had some close finishes at Phoenix, Scott, so I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, MLRN.
All right, appreciate it, buddy. There it is, Ken, from 8th place finisher Wade Cheetah. And
no, that was entertaining to bring Wade up here. Like I mentioned when I was talking to Wade, I liked your idea of bringing some interesting people up to the booth with us instead of just the top 3. It changes things up. So kind of interested to see who we'll bring up next week. And we're going to be in the desert again, speaking of next week, back there in Phoenix. Very similar scenery on the outside of the track. Quite a bit different layout. So going a little bit closer to short track racing, but not quite.
My style of racing, my home track's New
Flat
Hampshire.
track.
It's got to be the sister track, if there is one out there, to New Hampshire Motor Speedway is Phoenix Motor Speedway there out in Phoenix, Arizona in the desert. That'll complete our 3-race stint on the West Coast before we go back east. I want to say to Atlanta, but I'm not sure what the 5th race is going to be here as we go back eastbound. But nonetheless, Phoenix on the schedule next week.
I think I might be able to help you out with that, Scott. So it looks like, we are in Atlanta. So, and then we're going to head to the road course of COTA, Circuit of Americas, after Atlanta. So we're actually going to see some road course racing on the 9th race of the season. So got some fun races coming up, that's for sure.
Yeah, that'll be cool. We're going short track racing more or less at the 1 mile at Phoenix. We're going speedway, almost super speedway style racing at Atlanta.
Almost, yeah.
And then road racing at COTA, Circuit of the Americas, down in Austin, Texas. Looking forward to it. Of course, you can catch all the action with myself and Ken Huber on the Multi-League Racing Network. What do you got, Ken?
Oh, no, I was just going to say after that is short track racing for 3 races. So, woo.
Oh.
Love short track in Bristol, Martinsville. Those type of tracks are coming up after we get this next 3-4 races done. So,
and when you say Bristol,
schedule.
I got to imagine that's got to be the dirt race at Bristol. We're getting dirty here. See who's got some
Richmond, Bristol Dirt, and then Martinsville. So
that'll be a fun sequence. So we got a cool 6-week series ahead for the fans. Let us know what race you're looking forward to the most. Appreciate everybody in the chat. We got Martha out there, Noah in the chat, Jason Harris, Luke, all these guys, and appreciate everybody participating. If you didn't see this live, catch us on the replay, and we'll catch you next week from Phoenix International Raceway on behalf of the Multi-League Racing Network. On behalf of Scott Patton, myself up in New Hampshire, Ken Huber, thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you next week from Phoenix. Have a safe week, everybody.
good night, everyone.